We are floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you two badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingmen Show, where we're floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you two badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingmen Show. My name is Commander Drew Brown. My wingman, my friend, the guy who always watches my 6 o'clock is my main man, Dr. Paul Thompson. How you doing today, Brother Paul?
Well, pretty good, Commander Drew. It's good to see you again. I'm going to guess that you're back in the on terra firma, not on the open ocean, but I know you like that formation of jets flying behind you. You love formation, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I love formation and I love my Virgin Voyage jets. You know, I did come back from that cruise and it was a great cruise and I can't wait to go back. So we'll start off with a quote of the day, and I like this one. Laughter is the most surefire healing I know. That's by Tony Cade Bombara. One more time. Laughter is the most surefire healing I know. And I have a quote, and I always said that laughter is the cure for cancer. But I truly believe that. I think that laughter really can help you all day long. What do you think, Doc?
Yeah, yeah. Healing, that's something that heals. That is a real word. We thought it was a fake word, but it's a real word. Healing is something that heals, and laughter is good for you. Yeah, Tony Cade Bombara was also from Harlem. She's no longer living, but she was a pretty well-known writer, activist, and author.
Well, that's great. Now we have 3 people from Harlem on the show. How about that? All right, Dr. Paul. Hey, you ever notice how everybody talks about talent like it's a golden ticket? Like if you're not born with it, the game's over? Well, I'm telling you right now, that's just not true. I've always said that everybody is a LeBron James, but they might not be in basketball, but they do all have a gift. What do you think, Paul?
Talent might get you to the door, but discipline's what keeps you in the room. In aviation, if you don't have the discipline, you don't last long, period. The sky has no patience for inconsistency, Commander Drew.
Well, you know, we've both seen talented pilots wash out, and not because they couldn't fly, but because they wouldn't prepare. They skipped the reps, they skipped the study, they skipped the checklist mentality. They thought talent would carry them, but it doesn't, does it, Paul?
Yeah, I can remember when I was instructing, there was a guy that was really kind of gifted. He was smooth on the controls. You'd think he was born in the cockpit, but he hated the grind. He didn't brief that hard. He didn't debrief honestly, a lot of denial. And slowly he kind of disappeared from the program. And that story repeats itself more often than most people think.
Well, you know, meanwhile, there was another student. He wasn't flashy. He had to work for everything. I remember him. I'm talking late nights, flashcards, chair flying in the hallway. He put in the work that nobody applauds. He really did work for it, Doc.
Yeah. And probably that same guy, he probably became the one that everybody trusted, kind of rock solid, kind of the guy you wanted next to you or lady at 2 a.m. over the water, over the open ocean during bad weather. That's who discipline builds.
No doubt. Let me say it like this: discipline is showing up when you don't really feel like it. And now talent shows up when it's only convenient. And life will definitely test which one you're really built on, especially when things get uncomfortable, Paul.
Yeah. You know, and pressure doesn't care how talented you are, it responds to your preparation. So when things go sideways, and they do, you don't rise to the talent, you fall back on discipline.
Well, that's the unstoppable zone right there. That's the pilot who studies like they're behind, even when they're ahead. That's the person who doesn't rely on being good. They rely on being ready every single time. I knew guys like that, Paul.
Yeah, and that's kind of the checklist mentality. You know, it's every time, same thing, no shortcuts, no, I got this, no big ego, just execute. Boring wins in aviation and boring wins in life too. Just do the same thing over and over again. Be consistent.
And this applies to everybody listening. You may not think you're the most talented person in the room, and that's fine. You just outwork the room. I'm telling you, everybody is a LeBron James in something. You just got to find it. And when you do find it, you got to work at it. You got to out prepare the room. And that's the decision that you're going to make every single day.
Yeah, because that discipline travels. It'll take you from your neighborhood to places you never even imagined you'd see. Doors open when preparation meets opportunity. Do you agree with that, Commander Drew?
I definitely do. We didn't get from Harlem to the flight deck on talent alone. It was discipline, day after day. It was the grind, checklist after checklist, even when nobody was watching. But that's what built the foundation that we have, Doc.
Yeah. So here's the takeaway for everybody. If you got discipline, you're already dangerous. If you got talent, don't waste it. Stack them together and watch what happens.
But guess what? What happens if you have both? Man, now you're playing a whole different game. You're really smoking because you put discipline and talent together, and you are exactly what you want to be. All right, everybody, we love that good news, and this is our good news segment. Welcome to the Wingman Show, where we talk about the stuff your doctor meant to tell you, but I guess he ran out of time or ran out of courage. So today's topic is how most people slowly give their power away, one lazy habit at a time, and they don't even notice it until everything starts hurting, Paul.
Yeah, we found this list that basically says you're not weak, you're just negotiating with gravity, and gravity's undefeated. So we're going to run through these 8 rules like a pre-flight checklist for your body. If you're naked in the mirror right now, this is perfect timing. Commander Drew, what's the first one?
The first one is walking. That's rule number one. You see, if you stop walking, your body starts retiring before you do. And that means your legs quietly turn in their 2 week notice. They're done.
Right. So you don't need a marathon. You just need to treat walking like brushing your teeth. Non-negotiable. 10 minutes after breakfast, 10 minutes after dinner. If you can scroll on your computer or your phone, you can stroll too. What's number 2, Commander Drew?
I like that. If you can scroll, you can stroll. Number two is important, sleep. That's rule number two. You see, if you sleep less than 7 hours, your brain actually ages faster than your face. And for some of y'all, the face is already on final approach, Doc.
Oh, that sounds mean. But sleep is not laziness, it's maintenance. Pilots don't skip inspections. You can't skip yours. Get your room dark, cold, and quiet. That's going to be your hangar for your airplane repairs of your body. How about number 3, Commander Drew?
Number three, and Dr. Brown, my son, always tells me to eat more protein. So it's protein and muscle. Rule number three, if you avoid protein, your muscles disappear silently. One day you're strong, the next day you're asking a teenager to open up the pickle jar. You don't have it anymore.
Yeah. So, the thing here is to put some real protein on the plate. It could be in different forms. It could be eggs, chicken, fish, beans. Every meal is a chance to either build the airframe or strip it of parts. How about number 4, Commander Drew?
That's sunlight and bones. Rule number four, if you avoid sunlight, your bones weaken quietly. You're not a vampire. Go outside. And if you're black, you need more sun than somebody who's light skinned because you need that vitamin D, and the melon actually prevents it from going in your body, Paul.
That's right. Absolutely true. So 10 to 20 minutes of daylight most days is good, plus some movement. That's like putting rebar or that reinforcement in concrete. So fragile bones and weak legs are a bad combination. That's how good people lose their independence, Commander Drew. How about number 5?
Number five is lifting things. Rule five, if you stop lifting things, gravity wins. If the heaviest thing you pick up is your phone, we got a problem because gravity always will win.
Right. So you don't need a gym, just carrying groceries or water jug. Do some body weight squats, which are excellent. something by the kitchen counter to catch your balance if you need it. So resistance is how you tell your body, we still have missions to fly. How about number six, Commander Drew?
I like this one. Complaining versus moving. A lot of people complain. So, rule number six, if you complain more than you move, your confidence dies first. Some folks' most intense workout is their group chat.
So swap one complaint a day for an action. Instead of saying, I'm so tired, try a 5-minute walk. Maybe do some stretches or a glass of water. Motion changes emotion. How about number seven, Commander Drew?
Number seven, I'm old. And we don't use that word around here. We use time on planet. So, rule seven, if you believe that you're old, your body will obey you. That's a command, not a comment.
Yeah. So you can start saying, I'm in training for 90, or I'm getting ready to dance at my grandkid's wedding. Your nervous system listens to the language in your cockpit.
You know what I always say, Dr. Paul? I'm 71 now. I have 29 more years until bonus years kick in. All right, rule number eight is after 60, weakness doesn't come suddenly. It comes from daily neglect. It's not one bad birthday, it's 1,000 tinies. I'll do it tomorrow. That's bad stuff for you.
Yeah. Well, so here's the good news. Power comes back the same way. One small walk, one better plate of food, one early bedtime. Just one thing, one at a time. You're never too old to add one good habit.
All right, so Wingman, here's your naked truth. Your body is taking orders from your daily routines, not your age.
So pick one of these 8 things today, fix it, just one.
Just one, just do one, because you gotta believe and you gotta move. Let's keep that good news coming, Doc. I saw a study that sounds like science fiction, but it's real neuroscience. Researchers had people practice positive thinking, literally picturing good things happening, and then they gave them a hepatitis B vaccine. The folks who got better at firing up a key reward area in the brain called the ventral tegmental area ended up making more antibodies after the shot. So they just weren't feeling good. Their immune system was actually responding differently. That's wild. It kind of lines up with what we've seen in placebo research, where positive expectations can actually change pain and other symptoms. But here you've got a direct link between what's happening in the brain and how the body responds to a vaccine, Paul.
Yeah, exactly. And the scientists were careful. And they weren't just saying, just think happy thoughts and you won't get sick. They're saying if you train people to activate that reward system using hopeful, optimistic imagery, you can slightly boost the immune system. It's more like adding a turbocharger to the vaccine, not replacing the engine. And the key word here is slight. The effect was small. And even the experts are saying it's too early to know how big a deal this really is in the real world medicine. But even a modest boost could matter for people with a weaker immune system or for vaccines that don't always produce a strong response.
Well, what I like was how cautious these doctors were. They stress this is a complementary tool, not a substitute. See, no one's telling you to skip your shots or ignore standard care. They're asking a different question. Can we train the brain to support the body when we're already doing the right medical things?
Yeah. And from a wingman's perspective, that fits perfectly. You still fly the jet by the book, using your checklist, doing the maintenance, having the right amount of fuel. But if there's something extra you can do to tilt the odds in your favor, you do it. So if a clinician is saying, we're going to do our best to take care of you, or a patient visualizing a good outcome, that gives the immune system a small nudge. So why not use that?
All right, so here's the takeaway: positive thinking is not magic, and it won't cure disease by itself, but it just might be part of a smart, modern playbook that uses the mind to help the medicine work just a little bit better. And hope isn't a treatment, but it just might be a force multiplier.
Yeah. So keep your vaccines, keep your doctors, and add in some realistic optimism. Have a clear eyes, a full heart, and a brain that quietly tells your immune system, let's go. That's a mindset I can get behind, Commander Drew.
So can I. All right, we love that jet jolt portion. And today, eyes on the truth about formation flying. This is really deep. All right, let's quick jet jolt. Formation flying. That looks smooth at air shows, looks easy, but I promise you it's not. That controlled chaos at high speed, there's no room for guessing when you're flying that fast, Paul.
Yeah, no question. In most cases, you got two high performance jets closing a distance, and only one rule really matters: keep the other aircraft in sight. The second you lose the visual, everything changes, Commander Drew.
And here's what people don't realize. Did you know that only one aircraft is doing the moving? You see, the other jet, it's rock steady, predictable, no surprises, no drifting. It's right there.
Exactly right. The pilot joining up is responsible for everything. It's closure rate, your alignment, your spacing. You're flying your jet based on the position of the leader, reading every inch of movement.
Now, that's when the sight picture breaks. Maybe you get a little high, a little fast. You can lose depth perception real fast. And at those speeds, small mistakes, they don't stay small for very long, Paul.
Right. That's the danger zone. Your eyes are like your lifeline in formation. The second that picture doesn't look right, you're already behind.
And that's why we're trained. If you lose sight, you don't guess, you don't hope, you separate immediately. No hesitation, no ego, Paul.
Right. Safety always wins over pride. You can always reset the formation, but you can't undo a bad decision made in a split second and have the airplanes crunch together.
So you see, formation flying is all about discipline and trust. You have to trust your wingman is steady and discipline to never push past what you can safely see, Paul.
Yeah. And that applies in life too. If you lose sight of what matters, don't keep pressing forward blindly. Reset, reestablish, and move with some clarity.
So I guess the bottom line is keep your eyes on, know your role, and don't force the picture. Because in formation, close is cool, but safe is everything. And Dr. Paul, I actually got a down in flight training for formation flying, my first one. And that's because I went high. I was far out, but I went high and I lost sight of the other jet. And the instructor very rudely just ripped the stick out of my hand and he gave me a down. But believe it or not, I became the best formation flyer in my squadron. So that little bit of extra help, it really worked for me. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching us on YouTube, listening to us on Apple Podcasts, looking at our TikTok and our Instagram. Thank you for all your subscriptions and all your messages you sent us. Check out those badass jets we got behind us. Now, behind Dr. Paul, he has his favorite air group, and that's the Blue Angels. You want to say something about those Blue Angels, Paul?
Yeah, well, the picture really speaks for itself. That's probably the best formation you're going to see. That's the tightest formation I've ever seen. And they practice hard, hard, hard for months and months and months before they ever step out to a real air show. So practice is important, and everything we talked about earlier is critical for a safe demonstration.
And don't ever forget, the Navy Blue Angels fly much tighter and better than the Air Force Thunderbirds. I just had to put that in. All right, everybody, we do have a website, and that website is wingmenshow.com. That's WINGMENSHOW.com. And on that website, we have a couple of things. We have a newsletter that comes out, and that newsletter this week is Discipline Beats Talent, but discipline plus talent is unstoppable. And also on our website, we have our favorite frequent flow line. And that's where you guys out there can write Dr. Paul, myself, and Ace any question you want, and we'll try to get to it. All right, it's time for our frequent flow line. Now, with us, we have our wingman Ace, and he's an AI chat box. But please let's not forget, he's not human and he's not 100% correct all the time. But he's an excellent tool for you to learn how to use. He will change your life. And here's our frequent flow line letter. And I'm going to read that to Ace, Dr. Paul, and myself. Dear Wingman, my name is Amber. I'm 24 years old from Atlanta, Georgia. I was raised in a very strict religious church. I'm not going to name it because I really don't want to disrespect anyone, but I've seen hypocrisy there my whole life. People talk about love, humility, and service, but what I mostly see is ego, money, and judgment. They preach it on Sunday, but they don't live it on Monday. You see, I still love my family, and I know my parents mean well, but I can't do it anymore. I feel more spiritual than religious now. I believe in God, I pray, and I try to be a good person. But I don't feel right sitting in a place that doesn't line up with what they say they believe. You see, I've gone along with it as long as I possibly could because I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I'm tired. I'd like your advice on how to handle this without blowing up my family and without betraying myself. Signed, Amber from Atlanta. What do you think, Ace? What's a good answer for Amber?
Amber's honesty is key here. First off, it's okay to honor your own path. I'd start by gently opening up a dialogue with your family, not as a confrontation, but as a conversation about your personal journey. Acknowledge that you still love them and respect their beliefs, even if yours are evolving. You don't have to explain every detail, just emphasize that you want to stay connected, even if the pew no longer fits you. Boundaries can be loving. By speaking your truth calmly, you stand by yourself without having to blow anything up. They may need time, but love can bridge the gap.
That's excellent, Ace. So, Amber, I'm glad you wrote us because what you're feeling is real and a lot more common than people admit. You're allowed to say, I love my family, but this setting doesn't fit my spirit anymore. In the 11 Facts in Life, I wrote, God is an omnipotent power greater than ourselves, whomever or whatever you choose to call it. So here's how I'd approach it. Have a calm, private conversation with your parents, just like Ace said. No blame, no attack. Something like, Mom, Dad, I really appreciate how you raised me, and I still believe in God, but I don't feel connected to this church anymore, and I need to explore my faith in a different way. Focus on your journey, Amber, not on what everybody else is doing wrong. And I've always heard that spirituality is to religion like justice is to law. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, well, I would tell Amber, consider this. The behavior of people inside of a building doesn't define your relationship with God. Sometimes people talk a good game, but don't live it. So you're not crazy for mentioning that or noticing it. You're just paying attention. I'd encourage you to look for a healthier space. Maybe a different church. I think that's the simplest one. Maybe a small group, maybe just some time alone with God and some good books. Places where you can, walk and have a talk that matches the walk. And remember, you don't have to show up for every service to show your love for your family. You can still be kind, you can be respectful, and still protect your own spirit and your own peace of mind at the same time.
That's good advice, Paul. So here's the wingman gouge on this. Stay loving, stay respectful, but be honest. You're not rejecting God. You're stepping away from hypocrisy. And sometimes that's exactly what real spirituality looks like. I'm proud of you, Amber. Thanks for
This is a
writing.
Wingman PSA. In the sky, your partner has your back. Now, let's get to it.
Climbing in now. Systems green.
All right, this is our favorite Wingman PSA from the 11 Facts in Life under fact number 6 envy. The grass is greener on the other side because it's astroturf. The grass is greener on the other side because it's fake grass. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, that's a favorite of mine. I thought I came up with it, but I guess I didn't. Yeah, it's AstroTurf. Everything that looks good isn't necessarily good. What is it? All that glitters is not gold. Sometimes it's just cheap imitation stuff, and we can all get seduced by bright, shiny objects. So be careful.
And you need to be careful what you ask for because you just may get it. All right, Ace, you know what time it is. It's the gouge time. And we're going to use you because you're a chat GPT. And I really want to hear what you think about this discipline versus talent. So, Ace, what's the real gouge on discipline versus talent? If somebody doesn't think they're naturally gifted, how can discipline still make them dangerous in life?
So here's the gouge straight up. Talent is that flashy spark, but discipline's the slow burning fire that keeps going when talent's already fizzled out. If you don't think you got a natural gift, discipline is your ticket to outlast, outwork, and outgrow the naturals. A disciplined person trains all the days nobody's watching, shows up when motivation is gone, and builds skills brick by brick. And you know what happens then? You become dangerous because you're reliable, you're consistent, you're the one who didn't stop refining your craft. And when the talented folks get tired or complacent, you're still out there getting sharper. That's how discipline turns into its own superpower.
Thanks, Ace. All right, everybody, this is our Wingman story. We always promote people who help other people, and this is a good Wingman story. Today's Wingman story is about a young man named Joel. Joel has a slight case of Down syndrome. His school loves him, and he absolutely loves basketball, especially his favorite NBA superstar.
And what I love is that he wasn't just watching from the bleachers. The team brought him in. He was part of the family, kind of a mascot, a hype man, a teammate in spirit, all wrapped into one.
And see, Joel practiced all the time. His shot wasn't perfect, the form wasn't textbook, but the effort, that was pure heart. He just wanted to be part of the game he loved.
Yeah, that's the thing about heart. You don't measure it by trophies or stats. You measure it by how many times somebody shows up, even when nobody's watching. And Joel showed up.
So, look, every year the school had a teachers versus students game where everybody got to play. And this year, Joel got his moment. He checked into that game like it was the game 7 of the finals.
And the whole gym felt it. The students, the teachers, the parents. Everybody knew this was bigger than just a friendly game. You could feel that anticipation in the air.
So Joel, he caught the ball, he took a breath, and he let it fly. It hit the backboard just right and then dropped through the net, and that gym absolutely exploded with excitement.
Yeah. Because it wasn't just 2 points. It was a whole building screaming, yes, at the same time. That was a moment nobody in that gym is ever going to forget.
Because kids jumped up, teachers jumped up, and they started chasing Joel around the court like he just hit the game winner in the NBA Finals.
Mhm. And that's what love looked like. Nobody cared about the score anymore. They cared that Joel had his moment, and they made sure it felt as big as it truly was.
And then Joel did something that took it over the top. So he's running around giving everybody high fives. Joel starts imitating his superstar's goodnight celebration, put his hands together like a pillow, tilted his head, and a big smile on his face.
So in his mind, that game was over. He called night night on the whole gym. For that moment, he wasn't just a fan, he was the superstar.
And that video hit the internet, and sure enough, it went viral. People shared it because it was pure joy, no drama, no controversy, just a young man being fully celebrated.
And the world needs that. We hear enough about the worst in people, Every now and then, we need a reminder of the best.
The story actually traveled so far that Joel's favorite player saw it and invited him to meet him in person. And for Joel, that had to feel like the universe handing him the biggest trophy he ever got.
And if you look at that moment, it's not just Joel smiling, his parents, his teachers, his whole community. They were all glowing. They weren't just proud of the shot, they were proud of that young man.
So now here's what I want to say about this. People look at Joel and call him special needs. But when I look around at this world, I'm starting to wonder who really has the special needs. Is it Joel or is it a bunch of us? See, Joel isn't walking around thinking about racism. He's not plotting how to hurt people or step on somebody to get ahead. He's not obsessed with money and status. He just wants to be loved and to be happy.
Sometimes the folks we label as different are actually close to the way we should all be: honest, kind, joyful, and grateful.
So, yeah, they say Joel is special needs, but when I see his heart and then I see how some normal people act out here, I start to think maybe we're the ones who really need the help. You know, during my bar mitzvah, my father, I have a special needs cousin that I never met, and she had Down syndrome. And believe it or not, my father went to her and wanted her in all the special pictures. My grandmother was going crazy, going, "Why does she have to be in this?" But anyway, she was in all the special pictures. Well, not too long ago, I found out that she had passed away, but she told her parents that my bar mitzvah was the best day in her life. What a great story. So, everybody out there who can hear my voice, whatever you think is important, whatever you think is beautiful, and especially whatever makes you happy, may you have that today and forever. I pray for peace.
I prayed for peace too, Commander Drew. It's good seeing you again. We appreciate all those who listen, like, and share our message. Share this with somebody. Give them some good news for a change. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, a good review would be very, very much appreciated. In any case, we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thank you once again, Dr. Paul Thompson, my friend. Thank you for your love, your time, and that's something that we won't ever get back. I want to thank all the listeners, too. Thank you so much for doing the show, Dr. Paul. We're jamming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Drew, for inviting me on. Always good to talk to you. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or any of the podcasts. If you're looking at YouTube, they say smash the like button. Don't smash it. Just press it gently and refer to use as a link to all your friends. You can also look at us on our website, wingmenshow.com, WINGMEN show, SHOW.com, altogether, wingmenshow.com. And we hope to see you in the future. Thanks again, Mr. Drew.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're still floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. May there be peace on earth, and goodwill towards all men and women.